One of the most important objectives of email marketing is to establish the KLT factor, or in other words, know, like, and trust. Because, surprise, surprise, we as people buy from other people who we know, like, and trust. And that's what a lot of very smart marketers and copywriters and business owners realized eons ago, is that if you cultivate a relationship, a true, genuine emotional connection, a relationship with your subscribers or your followers or people in your tribe, then they're going to get to know you better. They are going to see you as vulnerable. They are going to trust you, and they are going to also like you, so that you don't have to sell them so hard on your product or course or coaching program or whatever. Well, today's proven email breakdown analyzes a great example of a relationship building email that definitely goes a long way to establishing know, like, and trust. It's not an automated email. It's not an autoresponder or a welcome sequence or a part of this. But we've seen those emails before, and there's a link in the description section that links to the entire 50-day proven email breakdown playlist. So check it out, and check out the previous emails like the welcome email, the freebie delivery email, and so on. But today, we're taking a look at just a so-called regular broadcast email from master copywriter Justin Goff. I'm on his list, by the way, and he sends some pretty amazing emails. Not because they have sophisticated pitches or something like that, but because the text flows very nicely, and he does a great job at cultivating a genuine relationship with his subscribers. And Ian Stanley, again, I broke down one of his emails, link in the description. He has this concept of the emotional bank account. So according to Ian's view, your emails either add to this emotional bank account that you have with individual subscribers, or they subtract from it. And it's your job to not just subtract from it, because then it's like a bank account that doesn't have any money anymore. You're just taking it away and away and away. But instead, you also deposit money into the account. Well, in this case, you're basically depositing goodwill. You're giving people value. You're entertaining them, or you're just helping them shift their beliefs, or sharing them some insight from your own life. Well, this is what Justin is doing here. And this email, it's not that long. It has like 400 to 500 words or something like that. But it's a great example of how to actually cultivate this relationship with your audience. And this email actually comes from Derek Johansson's daily email income course. I'm part of that, actually. And as I'm doing these videos, I'm also doing the assignments in that course. So if you're interested in that, there's also a link to that in the description section. It doesn't have a fancy sales page yet or something like that, because it's a new product. So it doesn't have all the fancy marketing whiz bang yet, but that doesn't take away from the effectiveness of this course. It's really, really good. So definitely recommend you check it out. And if you want something for free, or you just want to get started with email copywriting, I myself have a cool little 5-day mini course called the 5 Principles of Sending Rainmaker Emails that you can check out. Again, link in the description. But let's talk about the email. As I said, the first thing we notice is that everything is optimized to be personal. Like, check it out. The name, the from name, it's just Justin Goff, just his name. How the email is structured, it's just like a letter. The fonts are bigger. The column size, the width is actually not that big, so it's very easy to read on mobile as well. Check out the paragraphs themselves and the lines. Like, it's not overwhelming. It's very easy to read. It's very easy to skim as well. And because this email is basically like a listicle, what this means is that you have, like in this case, 5 different elements. It's very easy to skim through the email and just read one of them maybe, and then you scroll up and you read another one if you enjoyed the previous one or something like that. So the idea is to strategically add value to people one step at a time. The subject line basically says 5 things I do that most millionaires would disagree with. And we can immediately see that this is a contrarian email. It's 5 specific things that Justin does. And remember, Justin has a great personal brand. People like him. People inside the Justin and Stefan Talk Copy Facebook group, they kind of idealize Justin and Stefan. Plus, they have the Copy Accelerator products and live events and all that good stuff. So people are like wannabe copywriters or aspiring copywriters. They're definitely interested in Justin's life because he is a millionaire, a multi-millionaire, and they wanna like see like how his life looks like, right? What does his life look like without being like a guru with Lamborghinis and stuff like that? And then I think Justin knows this, and he used this to come up with a subject line that's pretty interesting, because 5 things I do that most millionaires would disagree with. So like, okay, Justin, you are a millionaire and most millionaires would disagree with, like, what are these 5 things? So people have to read. And then the email starts, yesterday's email about why I don't get up early really struck a chord with a lot of people. So, you know, it's always good. Never assume that someone read your previous email. Even though you might have had high open rates or something, never assume it, because you never know. So it's always good, and I also do this in my emails. It's a good way to just quickly remind people of the general topic of your past email, especially if there's continuity between the two. So yesterday's email was about something. There's some quick context, which basically leads Justin to write more about a very similar topic. And the second paragraph just adds a little flow element to this whole thing. And then the third paragraph just basically says, so I'm going to share a few of those things with you. So this is basically just setting expectations. Like, there's no super sophisticated copywriting formulas or something going on here. He's just writing. He's communicating. And he's writing like he talks. This is very, very important. And David Deutsch, who's also one of the mentors of Justin, by the way, he always talks about, you know, just speak to people. Just don't enter into this writing mode. He has a concept called copy thinking, which means just, you know, don't try to, don't be a tryhard when it comes to copywriting formulas or something. Just talk to people. And sometimes talking to people in simple, plain, easy to understand terms is harder than coming up with a sophisticated text or something like that. And that's what really good copywriting looks like. So this is really good copywriting, but it doesn't sound like really good copywriting. But that's what makes it really good copywriting. So I hope this makes sense. Anyway, the first point, checking social media first thing in the morning. A big one, right? If you're in any way, shape, or form involved in the productivity niche, you know that every single productivity coach, the first thing they do is they tell you, hey, have a morning ritual. Don't do any social media before noon or something like that. Don't check your email before noon or something like that. Well, what does Justin do here? He's like, you know, I do exactly the opposite. I know it's bad. I know it's anti-productive or something like that, but I still do it. So what's the strategic objective of this part? Well, first of all, it's to position Justin as someone likable and someone who's kind of like a rebel a little bit. And when people read this, they're like, oh wow, like Justin's a millionaire, like he's an amazing copywriter and he has some amazing products, and if he can be so successful without being like a productivity robot, then probably I, the average Joe, can also be successful eventually. I just have to learn from Justin like how to do it without all this crazy discipline, like being like Jocko Willink or something, getting up at 4 a.m. in the morning. And I love that Justin positions himself, and I noticed his recent emails, the past few months, they transitioned away from business and copywriting specific tips to like life and general business and general life related tips. And especially tips that are contrarian to the status quo. Things like, and I'm sure you're going to notice a pattern here, checking social media first thing in the morning, or check email more than I should, or not having a bookkeeper as a successful business owner, not having an office, and not working in the middle of the day. So I think he's doing this intentionally, but it's good because it builds more rapport with people. So he basically then, each of these things, it just comes up with a new insight. It gives a very general overview of why this is, and it just knows always. He's really good at dimensionalizing stuff. What this means is that he's adding more context to certain things, and it's making it more real, making it feel like more real instead of just telling them about something. He's showing it in real life. For example, let's see, like this one. I don't have an office. Most millionaires I know have their own office. Again, this is common wisdom. Or they at least have a home office where they can close the door and get shit done. I have neither. I work from my kitchen table every day, and truthfully, I really enjoy it. And this is the context part. There's lots of sun shining in, and it just puts me in a good mood. Much better than I would be in an office. So again, as you're reading this, you can associate yourself with the whole thing. You can imagine, like, oh yeah, like sitting in a place that has sun shining in, and it has a nice ambience. It feels good. Like, I can imagine why that might be more productive in a sense. So it's probably not the best example of dimensionalization, but if you want to see great examples, check out my 100-day proven sales letter breakdown series. Again, link in the description. And check out videos from Clayton Makepeace. Clayton Makepeace was one of the best copywriters of all time, and he was a master of dimensionalization, especially emotional dimensionalization. So check it out. But jumping back to the first point here, yeah, he just gives you a high-level overview. He gives you more context, more specifics, and then he also gives you like a reason why. I check social media because I want to see what's going on, especially in terms of like global turmoil, right? And it helps me slowly wake up. I know it's not smart, but it's something I do. So again, this part builds relatability. It's like, I know it's not smart, but I do it anyway. In my case, actually, I know that I should hire someone to do more video marketing for me, or to break up my long form content into shorter form content pieces. And I will eventually. And by the way, if you're watching this video and you know someone who does that, just send me an email, because I'm curious actually. But I'm still not doing it. I know it should, but I'm still not doing it. So the second point, I check email more than I should. Again, a big anti-productivity thing. Productivity gurus always tell you to chunk your time into like these email checking chunks, or cold outreach chunks, or I don't know, responding to customer requests or inquiries or something. But Justin, like, he doesn't do that, and I don't do that, by the way. And he says, I get a ton of email, probably close to 300 emails per day. Again, this is more context between people responding to my list, my copy accelerator group, and just other stuff going on. My inbox is always slamming. So even more context, even more context. But Justin makes himself sound like human, and that's very important when it comes to building know, like, and trust, remember. So he says, my goal is to one day be one of those guys who only checks email for half an hour a day and then ignores it the rest of the day. But I'm not there yet. And for now, I still check it multiple times a day. So chances are, if you're watching this video, you've read the 4-Hour Workweek from Tim Ferriss. Great book. Again, it talks about productivity hacks and a lot of other things. And we all know that we should do that. We all know that we should delegate a bunch of stuff and not waste so much time just getting out of your focus mode because you're checking emails or something. But it is what it is. We're imperfect humans. But Justin, acknowledging this, he shows himself as vulnerable. which makes it more likely for people to like him, which makes it more likely for people to buy something from him, because we buy from people we know, like, and trust. Very important. I think that would be one of the key fundamentals of email marketing. And by the way, plug time, if you want to learn more about the proven fundamentals of email marketing, check out my free mini course, The 5 Principles of Sending Rainmaker Emails, because it's one of the best ways to consistently get more opens and sales and clicks with your emails. It's really good. Check it out. So the third one, I don't have a bookkeeper. Again, more vulnerability and more transparency, and you get a peek into Justin's life, basically. So it's like, again, here I am, multi-million-dollar business owner, and I don't have a bookkeeper. Like, if I can do it, you can also do it. And remember that, you know, when you look at emails in an email marketing, or if you're nurturing a list like how Justin does in this case, you don't have to look at emails in a vacuum. Even though this email isn't selling anything at all, it still is effective in shifting beliefs. It still is effective in depositing emotional credits into that emotional bank account that I talked about. It still is effective at maybe, you know, getting people to actually buy, I don't know, 4 emails from now when Justin is going to promote Copy Accelerator Live, which is, I think it just happened this weekend or something. So, so yeah, think about this. It's very important. You have to look at the strategic long game when it comes to emails. It's not like a sales page, which is relatively in a vacuum. It's still not in a vacuum because it assumes you have to know the traffic source and all the other nurturing that came before it, and the ads that came before it. But with emails, it's all about long-term games. The fourth one is I don't have an office. Again, there's a common wisdom. Justin goes against it. He's like a rebel character. He doesn't care that much about it. He dimensionalizes it, and we talked about this before. And there's also some objection handling here, because at this point, some people will be like, oh yeah, sure, Justin, it's easy for you because you live alone, but I have 3 kids running around. Like, I can't do this. And Justin basically says, yeah, I know, I'm in a different situation and I can do it. And that's why I'm doing it. So again, more vulnerability, more likability. And then the 5th one, I don't work in the middle of the day. Again, more insights into Justin's life. I'm not going to read this all, but he basically shares details about his schedule. And a lot of people are interested in this. And by the way, I also do very similar things compared to Justin. I wake up, but I wake up at 9:30. Again, I know that I should wake up earlier, but I wake up at 9:30. I mean, that's it. I work for like 2-3 hours. Then I go to the gym. Then I have lunch. I do intermittent fasting, by the way. And then in the afternoon, I have more calls and I work and I do some other stuff. So by sharing this, you know, you as the viewer actually get to feel like you understand me better, right? You know me better, right? Because you know parts of my daily routine, which almost it simulates like a more personal relationship. Do you agree? Like, if you do, leave a comment below. I'm curious what you think about this part, because it's something that a lot of people, they feel like, why should I share this with my audience? Like, nobody cares about this. But the thing is, we're in 2022, and the world is craving personal connections, especially after the big C. It's craving emotional connection, and if you can show that you're human, if you can show that you are a likable personal brand, for example, people trust that way more than any corporation or you know, empty corporate, you know, someone who talks about something like that. We also get the reason why, like why it works for Justin, and then just wrapping up this fifth part here. So at this point, you know, he just transitions to the end. He just says, so there you have it. Those are 5 things I do that most millionaires would disagree with. This is just a quick recap. Again, this is useful because it just ties the message. It just, you know, it's a natural conclusion to the whole message. And this part is, it gives people hope as well. So it just shows you that you can do a lot of stuff wrong and still be successful. Again, this is an important belief shifting element here. what a lot of these emails are doing, they're slowly but surely shifting beliefs. They're indoctrinating people into Justin's point of view, into how he sees the world, so that when the time comes to pitch them something, they're much more likely to believe what Justin is saying there. And then finally, you know, we have a call to action, but it's not a link. It's just a call to action to reply, which is, again, strategically very important, because the people who reply to this, they will feel like, you know, they're getting to know Justin even better. And if Justin replies, I try to reply to all my replies as much as I can. But when Justin replies, people will feel like, oh, wow, I had a nice like one-on-one interaction with Justin, who's one of my idols, let's say. That's what a lot of people feel. And it also helps the email reputation of Justin's domain, the sender score. So again, in the long scheme of things, in the grand scheme of things, this is important, because it increases the likelihood of future emails landing in the inbox instead of the promotion step when it comes to like sales emails. So it's a very smart strategy, but you have to just distance yourself from the tactical things here and just focus on the strategic parts. It's very, very important. So yeah, it's the end of this email. I really love it. I absolutely love Justin's writing. It's just so clear, it flows really well, and it builds a lot of connection. And he's very good at emotional writing as well. So hope you enjoyed this email. If you did, then like the video, leave a comment with your #1 insight. It helps a lot, especially with YouTube's algorithm. And also share this video with others if you like it. Maybe even share it with Justin. He might be interested in this. But the more eyeballs on it, the better. I definitely appreciate it. And I definitely appreciate you for watching this video.